Just across the Pennsylvania border, about an hour south of Syracuse, New York, is the town of Binghamton. In 1951, this community became the home to what would go on to become one of the most sought after and iconic audio brands in recent history, McIntosh. They moved into the current location in 1956 and have been expanding their facility ever since. McIntosh has also set up a company culture that is quite unique in manufacturing, with an average employee tenure of 20 plus years. If you're ever lucky enough to get a factory tour, you'll sense the pride in McIntosh products everywhere you go. At this factory, raw materials come in and beautiful finished products come out. They bend their own metal, stuff their own boards, wind and pot their own transformers, cut their own glass, and much more. Plus, every single piece gets tested and burned in before it makes it inside a shipping carton. The McIntosh factory is a wonderful example of great American craftsmanship at work. Another hallmark of the McIntosh brand is that it has some of the best resale value of any audio components ever made. We feel this is due to several factors. First, McIntosh prides itself on being able to repair just about anything they've ever made. Second, they designed their gear to last for decades with no sonic change. Finally, they have kept pretty much the same classic look since the very beginning. Today's review is on a piece from McIntosh that's in a somewhat competitive and very popular category, the integrated amplifier. For those of you new to the world of audio, the preamp is your control center, where all of your signal switching takes place and the low-level signals coming in get amplified or the digital signals get converted to analog. The power amp amplifies the signal to drive your speakers. When you put the preamp and the power amp in the same box, you have an integrated amplifier like the MA5300. The design of the MA5300 is classic McIntosh. You'll find a round volume control on the right and a round input selector on the left. The red power switch is on the right and the headphone input is located next to the input selector knob. In the center of the unit is the same type of display you see on almost all of their integrated amps and preamps, giving you the volume level, input, and other info about the input you are on. With just one quick look, anyone can figure out how to turn on a McIntosh and get your favorite tunes going. And the great part is you can dive in deeper to set up some cool features should you wish to, but you don't have to. We love the fact that even on their entry-level integrated amp, you get the iconic McIntosh blue meters. You'll also get the same glass faceplate with aluminum end caps and the green logo behind the custom glass faceplate, just like most of their other gear. A fun fact is McIntosh puts all the lettering on the back side of the glass faceplate to ensure that even after decades of use, the lettering will never wear off. On the McIntosh scale, the MA5300 is one of their smallest products. It's pretty funny that their smallest product weighs in at almost 40 pounds. It is a McIntosh piece through and through with the exact same build quality you get when you buy their most expensive components. As a matter of fact, the same person who made the transformers for this integrated amp might be making the transformers for their top-of-the-line mono amps next week. All of this attention to detail in design and superb craftsmanship make it easy to see why McIntosh owners love their gear. The MA5300 is rated at 100 watts per channel into an 8-ohm speaker load and is capable of delivering 160 watts per channel into a 4-ohm load. The Class AB amp section of the MA5300 has that same classic McIntosh warm yet powerful and detailed sound we find in all of their amplifiers. When you move it around to look at the rear panel, you'll see it has plenty of inputs and control features. There are 4 RCA analog audio inputs, a moving magnet phonostage input, and 1 pair of balanced audio inputs. The MA5300 also gives you a set of preamp out, main amp in connectors. These come jumpered together. However, this allows you to add the McIntosh MEN220 room EQ system or even add a larger power amp later on down the road. Across the top of the MA5300, there is a multitude of digital inputs. The cool part about the way McIntosh did the digital side of things is it's a modular card. It has what is called the DA1 digital input board installed, but you can upgrade to the better DA2 should you wish. This modular approach means your integrated amp will not go obsolete when digital technology changes over the years. We love the modular approach as it allows you to just replace the digital section down the road should there be a large change in digital formatting. With the DA1 board, you get 2 coax digital inputs, 2 Toslink digital inputs, 1 USB input, and 1 special digital input for McIntosh MCT CD and SACD players. The DAC inside the DA1 is pretty special as it uses an 8-channel, 32-bit digital analog converter in quad balance mode. The MA5300 is also Roon tested if you are a fan of Roon, which we are here at Audio Advice. On McIntosh preamps and integrated amps, you always get a great set of control connectors. McIntosh equipment is designed to talk to each other, and there's a whole rabbit hole you can go down regarding the different ways you can have pieces come on based upon what you did. There's also a rear IR and RS-232 input for control for use with a smart remote or home control system. They literally thought of just about everything. Many people want a great stereo system, but only have one room in their home they can dedicate to music listening and enjoying home theater. McIntosh has an answer to this with their home theater bypass. You can connect up your favorite left and right speakers to the MA5300 for the best possible sound. Then you simply use a home theater receiver that has preamp outs for the front channels. We go into more details in the written review on how home theater receiver bypass works. This is just a great feature that thankfully is starting to become more common in good 2-channel gear. When you set up your MA5300, you can use just the standard names for all the inputs, but since there are 12, you might want to name them to make it easier to keep track. This is very simple to do with the front panel display and allows you to customize your system. While bass and treble controls may be frowned upon by some audiophiles, the MA5300 lets you totally bypass them or engage them for those old recordings that could use a little help. The headphone jack on the front is far from an afterthought. It's made to support a very high-end pair of headphones with the ability to drive just about any headphone on the market. It uses the McIntosh high drive headphone amp technology and has their crossfade circuitry, which they call Headphone Crossfeed Director, built into it. The MA5300 allows you to turn this circuitry on or off depending upon the recording and your preference. You can even set it up to be on for one input and off for another, which is just super flexible. The amplifier section of the MA5300 shares 2 patented and famous McIntosh circuit designs. The first is Power Guard. This is a very unique design to totally eliminate any chance of amplifier clipping. Clipping occurs at very loud listening levels when the power demands of the music overrun the ability of the amplifier. Clipping is not good for your speakers, your amp, or your ears. It usually happens when the listener has had, shall we say, imbibed in too much fun and cranks up the volume louder than reasonable. In McIntosh products with Power Guard, there is a background system that's comparing the signal coming in to the signal going out. It can react in 1/1000th of a second to reduce the signal from the preamp heading over to the amp to avoid clipping. With Power Guard, you never have to worry about hurting your speakers or amp. Sentry Monitor is another neat feature. This really only comes into play if you were connecting up a pair of speakers with the amplifier turned on, which of course is a huge no-no. But should you accidentally touch the positive and negative leads together, the circuit will shut down the output stage of the amp to avoid any damage at all. The MA5300 has a sound that is like most current McIntosh gear. It's warm and rich, yet detailed. It also really gets the timing right, so you'll be tapping your toes to the music on those rhythmic passages. On most speakers, it will also make you smile with its bass impact. We did try it on some really large speakers and found we probably wanted more power than it had on them, but just about every pair of speakers we tested it on, it performed really well. No, it's not as good as the 300-watt McIntosh or Mark Levinson amp, but when you consider how it's made and what it costs, it's pretty darn impressive. The audio world is full of integrated amplifiers to choose from. We love the fact the MA5300 has the classic McIntosh look and sound, yet also has a future upgrade path with its modular digital board system. We can't think of many integrated amps out there with a better feature set or sound, and none have the 70-year-plus legacy you get with a handcrafted component from Binghamton, New York. If you have any questions about the MA5300 or any McIntosh product, you can come into one of our 2 stores in Raleigh or Charlotte, North Carolina, chat on our website, or phone in. If you enjoy this video, please like it and subscribe to our channel. On our channel, we review all kinds of great audio brands from around the world.